Okay, Soke Kaleak, human trafficking. This is a hot, or not hot, but it's a very sensitive subject right now in the media and within the martial arts community. When did you, you have a background in a military background also working as a professional bounty hunter. This subject of human trafficking, when did it first come to you, and when you know it's a serious issue?
Wow. You said when did it first come to me or to when it came into life? It's really an old story. We've been hearing about this for ages. Asians being brought here in containers, right? Still to this day, not just Asian people come from other countries in different ways in the cargo holds of ships. This is not an old story about human trafficking. My own personal history, my heritage is about human trafficking. So it's an old story. It's just taken on a new form as of now because it's in the public more, and it's basically come home. It's very, very close. We're hearing about it being done almost every single day. And I believe it's coming home even more because it's a youth factor in this thing. Younger and younger people are being abducted on an hourly basis.
Why the young people? What is the big deal?
I believe it's for a lot of reasons. And, we say in human trafficking because the trafficking is producing a lot of things. Prostitution, organ extraction, human enslavement, just so many things by just the trafficking of a human being. But there's tales of the young people's organs being harvested. And different things being done. This definitely is an organization. It's a network. It's a network, and it's been said that for every one person that's abducted, there's 4 people connected with that to make that one person disappear, so to speak.
Wow. And
there's very little being done, I think, in the way of trying to stop that as far as from an official end. We hear about the war on drugs. Where's the war on human trafficking?
Indeed. So, people who are concerned about this, everyone should be. What are some basic, common sense things that people can do? Let's say they don't have any martial arts training, they don't have a gun. What are some basic things that every person should do to protect themselves from human trafficking?
Good question. And I'm glad you put it that way. Me being a martial artist, we try to do a lot of things to teach people how to physically get out of something, but these things that happen so quick and so fast, and it's very hard for people to understand, well, let me go get this training and come back. But very good question, because I think that things like situation awareness is one of the most important that I would say. You have to get yourself into that, well, how did they put it to us in school when they give it to us, what's wrong with this picture? Just take any scenario and look around. What's wrong with this room? There's something out of place. If it's out of place in your mind, it probably is it doesn't belong there. It's a setup, it's a situation, something could happen from that. So do it as a game, if nothing else. Train yourself to just look around your surroundings more often than perhaps you've been. Don't walk on the cell phones and look away so much. I do something in my class, I tell people not to set themselves up for not knowing what's going on. Do the 5-second scan. You should be looking around your surroundings. Every 5 seconds your head should be swiveling. You'll never be surprised. You'll be surprised how people sneak up on people simply because they wasn't paying attention. So situation awareness is the first thing. A lot of ways to do it, but I think it should be on your list. Another I would say is communication. Some people don't like to let people know what they're doing every 5 minutes, like it's a Twitter kind of thing. But you really should in today's time. People should know your whereabouts and what's a normal thing for your behavior and what's not normal. You normally do this. What's wrong with this picture now? It's not the same as it was before. Communication, cell phones, we all got them. Texts about your schedule of the day and things of that nature. When you go into your car from work, when you're going up on an elevator, maybe somebody should be on the other end. One of the things I like to always tell young ladies, especially when you're coming home at night, if you're on the phone anyway, get on the phone with somebody. And if attack is imminent, maybe you're on the phone when it happens. And maybe you can give a location or whatever if an attack is happening at the moment. All right, but at least leads to communication. So communication and situation awareness is the top of the list for me.
Oh, okay. What has your involvement been in terms of, preparing people or defending people, helping people prepare themselves against human trafficking?
Yeah, it's an endless task because it's kind of hard to get people into understanding that they are in danger without frightening them, without making them think that they can't live their everyday lives and give them preparation. And most of the people I deal with kind of think I'm trying to get them to sign up in the school, which is not a bad thing. But again, I think it's my job to take it to them and present avenues for them to get educated. And not just through me, but through understanding what it is to be situation awareness, and to bring yourself to the understanding of how to live inside your environment, even though these things enter. This is a great monster. I call it the monster because it's not going to go away unless we all unite together.
Very good. Now, you are a part of like an organization, or you're doing some work with an organization that's really working hard to stop human trafficking. What is that?
Yes. Like I said, my own personal efforts I've been doing for a while, starting out with women's self-defense, because so many women, I think it was 167 black women were abducted inside a couple of months. Then you heard about a couple of thousand children that was abducted. And we don't understand what for, but we understand they're being kidnapped. And that's the first term that we use in law, that they're kidnapped. Now, kidnapping is a high crime.
Yes.
To be able to take someone away from their surroundings and their loved ones. So it almost seems like it's an endless task on my behalf. But when I heard about Grandmaster Samuel Scott starting something called Warriors Against Trafficking, I was elated that I know the brother for some time is doing some great things inside the martial art, as well as making some great contributions to humanity. So again, a lot of the martial artists I know are not just martial art instructors, these are people in the community. And one of the things that he had said was that we are men first, and then we're martial artists. And that rang home because the men have to stand up in the community for their loved ones. The majority of these people that were being abducted was women or youngsters. They were abducting boys too, and men, but the initial thing was, and they were coming off in categories, almost between 14 and 17 was a big flux of women missing at one time. So that, as men, we have to stand up in the community in some kind of way. So he called for martial artists, he called for clergy, he called for leaders, athletic icons, people who have a voice in the community to come together and say that we are against this trafficking, this human trafficking thing. And so he got a website, and it's called Warriors Against Trafficking. That's one word. And you can go there and sign up to either be a mentor, to open your school for training on that, or you can be just a person that's concerned and delivering the word about where you can go get information on this. So again, that communication in the village kind of thing is what's happening here about that. And he's doing some great work, but he has one great mission that we're all trying. He's trying to get 5,000 members to be participants in this. And then from there, we're going to, on a given day, all of us are going to train at least 20 women or 20 people on how to protect themselves against trafficking in whatever location we're at on the same day around the world. So again, that's a mission that if we can accomplish that, the communication point will be gotten out there, and we can help people get educated as to where they can. It becomes sort of like a yellow pages, so to speak. So if you find yourself in LA, or if you're from New York, or you find yourself in Detroit, and wherever you're at, maybe you can pick up, go on the website and find out where you can get some training at there, because it has to be consistent with our lifestyle.
Of course.